Hey everyone, so as that chill starts to creep into the air, our gardens are getting ready for their biggest test of the year, winter. Today, we're going to talk about exactly how to get your lawn and your plants ready so they don't just survive the cold, but actually come back stronger than ever in the spring.
So, I want you to take a look outside. Go on, right now. Ask yourself, is my garden really ready for a hard freeze? It's a simple question, right? But the answer, well, that's what decides if you're going to see an explosion of life in a few months or, well, a whole lot of disappointment.
And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? The two paths you can take. On one side, you've got neglect, which, let's be honest, just leads to frustration and having to spend money replacing dead plants. But on the other side, a little bit of prep work now, and you're setting the stage for that amazing, vibrant spring we're all dreaming about. So think of it this way. You're not just doing chores, you're becoming your garden's guardian for the winter.
Okay, let's dive right in. First up, we're going to start with the biggest piece of the puzzle for most of us, the lawn. You can basically think of this whole process as putting a warm winter coat on that green carpet of yours. It's all about protection.
Here's the game plan, and it's super simple. Just 4 key steps. First, we've got the final no. You'll want to drop the blade just a little lower than usual. This helps prevent nasty stuff like snow mold from getting a foothold. Next, we aerate. This is so important. It breaks up all that packed down soil and lets oxygen, water, and nutrients get down to the roots where they're needed most. Then, a good winter fertilizer to give the roots one last meal before the big sleep. And finally, rake everything up. If you leave a thick blanket of leaves, you're basically smothering your grass and rolling out the welcome mat for pests.
I love this analogy of a lunchbox. It's perfect. See, winter fertilizers are different. They're low in nitrogen because you don't want a bunch of leafy growth right now. But they're high in potassium and phosphorus. And those are the nutrients that really strengthen the roots, helping them store up energy to survive the freeze and power a huge green up come springtime. All right, with the lawn all tucked in, let's move over to the garden beds. This is where we protect the real backbone of your garden, all those perennials and shrubs, and make sure they're safe and sound for their long winter's nap.
So what's our number one tool for this job? Mulch. It is absolutely your best friend right now. But here's a common mistake people make. Its main job in winter isn't actually to keep the ground warm. It's to keep the ground at a consistent cold temperature. This stops those damaging freeze-thaw cycles that can literally push plants right out of the soil. Just be sure not to pile it right up against the stems. That can cause rot. Give them a little room to breathe. And this just says it all. If the fertilizer is the lunchbox, then mulch is the cozy blanket. It keeps the soil temperature stable, it locks in moisture, and it just takes a ton of stress off the plant's roots. It's such a simple thing to do, but the payoff is huge. And hey, here's a fantastic pro tip for you. All those leaves you just raked off the lawn, don't throw them all away. Run your mower over them a few times to shred them up, and you've just made some of the best mulch you can get. It's free, it's organic, and it will break down and feed your soil. It's the perfect little ecosystem right in your backyard. Now, what about our potted friends? Plants in containers are way more vulnerable to the cold. Why? Because their roots aren't insulated by all that earth. So, that means it's time for what I like to call the Great Pot Migration. And as you can see here, not all your pots are going to get the same treatment. Your really tender plants like tropicals or maybe some herbs, they need to come inside to a cool, dark place like a garage or a basement. The whole idea is to let them go dormant so you'll barely need to water them. But your hardier plants, like a lot of evergreens, they can usually stay outside. The trick here is to group them all together in a sheltered spot. It creates this little microclimate and protects them from those really harsh winds. Okay, so we've taken care of the lawn, the garden beds, and all the pots. Now we get to talk about the best part, the reward. Because all this work, it's not just about surviving winter. It's about setting the stage for a spring that's absolutely spectacular. And just like that, once these jobs are checked off the list, you can step back, you can take a deep breath, and just know that you've done everything you could. Your job as your garden's guardian for the season, it's done. You've given them their best shot. And you know, this quote just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Gardening is totally an act of faith. All this prep, all this care, you're making an investment in the future. It's you showing your belief in the promise of tomorrow and in the return of spring. So I'll leave you with this final thought. When you look out at your garden this winter, what are you going to see? A to-do list for the spring? Or are you going to see a landscape that you, its guardian, have perfectly prepared to flourish? The choice is all yours. What will your spring look like?